Welcome to the Armory, episode 0. Why 0? Well, because it's not a thing yet, but I have an idea. What you're seeing behind me is the results of the last several weekends and few weeknights after work of me redoing the Armory, where a lot of our stuff is stored. This is thanks to Hold Up Displays offering to vault room me, which has been awesome. This has been a secured room. It was a spare bedroom, got converted with upgraded locks, and we've got sensors and all that kind of stuff. But over time, it got a little crowded with all the firearms it reviewed over the last 8 years. It's not all, but it's a fair chunk of them. And to put all this stuff up, I had to dig out everything that had been buried. I mean, rifles in piles and things like that. Remove it all to get to the wall, then haul all of this aluminum walling, this beautiful stuff, up here, get it mounted. There's 132 screws in that wall, if you're curious. So there was a lot of effort. It's not done yet. The lighting is not done yet. The sound is not done yet. But it became apparent to me that this is probably a cool spot to film in. And as I shuffled around all these firearms, they're not in final order or even organized. It's more like get as many out as possible, then mount the stuff, hang as many guns as possible to make room in the other place to then get the next section's worth of guns out and stuff and ammo and all of that. I know, first world problems, right? But this is what dedicating almost every weekend, almost every day of my vacation time, and a lot of work nights for the last 8 years has resulted in. But what is the Armory and why episode 0? Well, I had an idea while I handled all this stuff and remembered some things and was reminded of things and saw some stuff that I hadn't seen in a while simply because it was buried too deep or there was too many other things. And that is the problem with media. And I'm guilty of it as a writer and as a YouTuber. I gotta stick up with what's hot, right? So the thing that just came out, get on it, make as much stuff as possible about it. Then something else comes out and it's this continuous thing. And whatever came out 6 months ago is already not even talked about anymore, often case. And a lot of stuff gets forgotten. But as a consumer myself, because I'm not a talking head, I'm not a paid person, I'm just an enthusiast who likes to share things. I like to learn stuff and then help other people learn and learn from them. That's the cycle. I realize that that's not what gun ownership is like. Some people do it with cars and maybe do it with firearms. I'd be curious to hear if anybody actually does this, but you don't buy the latest thing, use it for a few months, and then go trade it in on the next latest thing over and over and over again. I mean, you could, you'd be probably taking a loss every time. Be an interesting way to do things. But my point is, most of us buy it and keep it until there's not a reason to keep it anymore. And as a result, there's a lot of stuff that hasn't been talked about in a while, and I just don't have room for it on the main channel. The main channel at 2 videos a week. In fact, so far in 2023, when I'm filming this, over 150 videos were uploaded. So that's more than 2 a week, right? There's not room to circle back. Not Shinsaki there, Jinsaki. But my point is, I don't want this stuff to get forgotten, and a lot of you own the stuff, or maybe considering it, or you're browsing on the used market, or you come across something in a small town gun shop that's just been laying there for a while, or maybe the shop doesn't pick up some of the odd, interesting, and different things that you see on the GBGuns channel, and they do, and it sticks, and it never sells, things like that. So my thought here, and I wanted to get your opinion. You guys are watching this either because you got in on grassroots of the GBGuns Media, the backup channel of GBGuns. Either you just discovered it and didn't realize there was a full channel already existing, or you're one of the dedicated hardcore folks that loves hanging out with us, likes to interact with us, and give us feedback and things like that, and so you came over to support this backup channel. So you are the good ones. And not saying the others aren't good, but you are the close ones. Your patrons, your Ammo Squared supporters, etc. You help us keep this going. Premise. I've got a wall of stuff behind me, wall of stuff behind the camera, other stuff that still needs to get set up. I could make a lot of videos this way that I think would be interesting. I grab a gun off the wall and tell you what it is, show you some quick things, give you my quick thoughts, sort of a Reader's Digest non-shooting video of here's what it is and how it's performed. They'd be short videos, maybe 5, maybe 10 minutes, I don't know. I really don't feel like digging through the pile of external hard drives to find all the range footage from all that stuff, plus some of it's from years ago. But I thought this would be an interesting way to open up discussion on some of the models that aren't exactly the hottest thing right now, or even models that were the hottest thing last year or 2 years ago. Where are they now? Anyone still remember them? Are they still good? Are they still relevant? Things like that I think we could open up in the comment section and really have a more up-to-date library of it. My other thought on this is, over the 8 years of making GBGuns videos, I've been through a lot of different training courses, and I've obviously shot a lot of guns. I've shot each month. I've reviewed at least 4 guns that I hadn't shot before the previous month. Times that times 8 years, and I've had a lot of trigger time, and so my perspectives have changed. Not that my original reviews were wrong, but they had less information to compare against. They also didn't have the current timing, if you will. I've got, for example, a wall of single stacks, because single stack 9s were super hot when I got started in all of this, and they were very lightweight, easy to carry, all that kind of stuff. Long forgotten now. Some of those single stacks at the time had best trigger, great trigger, terrible trigger. They had, these features that either you had to have, and no one cares now, or they didn't have features that you need now. So where does that place those things in relevance today? Of course, it's still a firearm, still functions, you can still use it. But I think getting a fresher look with my more in-depth perspective now than I had when I reviewed them, and new opinions from you guys, would be a really interesting way to hit some of this stuff. The Remington RP9. Remember that? Ever heard of that? It's a Remington duty-sized pistol. Came out in 9, was supposed to come out in 45 and others, and then it was one of the times that Remington went under. I've got one of those. You may notice some, I don't know if it's in this angle view, yeah, there's a bunch of AKs back there. I love rifles, have a lot of trigger time with rifles. They haven't been so prominent on the channel lately, largely because the ammo crunch made unsponsored guys like me think long and hard before taking a rifle to the range. It was just too expensive, and I couldn't, even when I get to keep the firearm, which is where a lot of these come from. It's the closest thing to compensation that GBGuns gets from the industry, is companies say, hey, you make us this video and maybe we'll let you keep the gun, and I say okay, maybe I'll want to keep it. Obviously I've kept some, but even with the value of the rifle being whatever it is, during the ammo crunch, when I was looking at $300, $600, $800 in ammo just to make the video, hoping the footage comes out right, then my time, effort, the equipment, the cameras, the software, all that kind of stuff to put together a video, it wasn't always worth it. So moved to handguns, which are less expensive. Handguns are more practical. You can carry them in public a lot more places than you can carry a rifle, etc. You guys get my drift. But point being, I've got a lot of rifles. I've built a lot of rifles. Got some really cool builds that I really enjoyed. My grabbing this off the wall. This one hasn't seen much screen time in a while. This is my doing it fancy on a budget kind of blend of POF, bootleg, American Defense Manufacturing. There's a few. I've got high-end parts in this where they need to be, and where they don't need to be, they aren't, in my opinion. And that's something that I'm sure you guys will have different opinions on and think differently about it. Like, oh, I would never cheap out on that part. That's the most important part. I want to hear those things. So let me know in the comment section if you guys like this idea, you'd support it. It's something that I'd be doing just here on the B channel. Like I said, there's not time or space for it on the main channel. And be all in here. I've got lighting improvements coming. There should be audio improvements, things like that. It's it wasn't supposed to be this. I wasn't supposed to be committing myself to more, but that's the way things go, and it just seemed like a great idea, and I can't help it because I'm passionate about it. So let me know, is that something you guys want to see? Thanks for watching this episode 0 and for giving me your thoughts on it, because I don't know, after this thing takes off, I'm sure this video will look terrible compared to the others. Let's hope that I can continually improve. If so, episode 0 is probably going to get unlisted after a while once it gets rolling. I would love to do this in a live format where I could do real Q&A with this stuff, but unfortunately YouTube doesn't allow firearm handling in lives. And yes, there are other platforms, the audience isn't there. So as long as we're on YouTube, it's going to have to be pre-recorded. But I've got plenty of content potential in here. So let me know. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Maybe here, maybe over on GBGuns.